Well, hi again, folks. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and welcome into This Week in Pearl. On this episode, we've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be joined by Mayor Jake Windham and brand new freshman alderman for District 1, Mr. Sammy Williams, as they are coming off of their first board meeting of this new term. We'll get a chance to talk to them about the issues going on in District 1, which is on the east side of Pearl, and then an overview of the city with our Mayor Jake Windham. We're also honored to be joined this week by our Central District Commissioner for the Public Service Commission, Mr. Brent Bailey. And a lot of you may not realize all the responsibilities and the rights that you have as consumers when it comes to the Public Service Commission. He's going to be here to break a lot of things down with some terrific information, especially about how to make your home more efficient. So you're going to want to stick around to hear what Commissioner Bailey has to say. Then we'll talk about a few community events that we have going on. Mississippi Braves are in town with a big weekend ahead, and football and cheerleading registration is ongoing. All that and more on this edition of This Week in Pearl.
Hello, I'm Mayor Windham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
All right, folks, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and we are honored to have, well, I'll call them new, because technically they are newly reappointed, newly reelected, and somebody that is brand new, a freshman. You probably haven't been called a freshman in quite some time, have you?
In a year or two.
Mr. Sammy Williams, he is the new alderman for District 1, which is in the northeast side of town, up around El Dorado.
That's right.
So you guys had your swearing in on July the 1st, and then last night was, this past Tuesday night, your very first board meeting together. We always get to talk to Jake. We'll go with you first. What was it like being at your first board meeting, official duties?
Exhilarating, I reckon is the way to put it. It was nice. We got a bunch of stuff done and just keeping the city business rolling along. So,
Mayor, how was it having some new faces up there?
It was good. You know, I've known Sammy. I actually worked with Sammy when I was at Pearl PD and he was at Pearl Fire. So I know how much Sammy cares about the city of Pearl. He's been here since he was 5 years old. Yep. And when you have somebody in there that's going to make decisions based on the fact of love for the city and critically think through the processes, that's what you want to help lead the city. So I was excited about that too. And Keith is cut from the same cloth. So I think that when you care about something, that means that you're going to dig in, have more compassion for it, and think about it and concentrate on it more. So I think it was a good board meeting. I mean, I remember my first board meeting and presiding over the meeting itself. I mean, I was nervous as a house cat. I was in my office looking over Robert Rules of Order, trying to make sure I get this straight, because I wanted to represent myself well, and I wanted to represent the citizens that elected me well. And but so I think last night went really good. We obviously had to go back into executive session, and by state law we have to reappoint employees, reappoint department heads. So it's a little bit of a lengthy process, but it went good. We were back there, and I had to wake everybody up once we got back to the boardroom.
Well, it's you mentioned Keith. That is Keith Dennis. He's the new freshman alderman for District 2, and he had to run off with his family. They needed a little vacation time, so he was going to be on this week's show with us. We'll get him when he gets back, but some well-deserved R&R, because, man, you guys worked so hard beating the streets
Yes, we did.
To get elected.
I tried to shake every hand and speak to everybody.
Well,
So,
you know, for you, Sammy, what was so important? What made you want to step up and serve? You know, you served for a long time, public service, fire department, fire service. But in this capacity, what made you want to serve again?
well, I like helping people. I like to see the city grow, and I like to see the city safe. And since I retired in 2014, I've missed it. And people call me, can you call down there, you know, the people at City Hall, can you call down and get this done? And I said, well, you know, maybe I need to run for alderman. and I did, and look, I have jumped into it and love it. I'm glad I'm meeting the people again. I feel like I'm accomplishing something for the city again now, like I used to do with the fire department. So I really enjoy it.
We get to hear all the time, you know, Mayor always talks about the big projects that are going on and how he wants to move the entire city forward. You know, you get to be a little more micro into it for the east side of town. So what are some of the biggest issues facing, you think, District 1?
Well, I mean, really, we're in decent shape out there. We got some streets we got to get paved. We got to get some ditches we got to get cleaned out. We got some little minor flooding issues, and just keep it spruced up and keep the property values up and try to bring people in. You know, that's what we want to do. We got a new subdivision going in that should be up and running in a year or so. So I'm ready for the people to come on.
Well, you're excited, and we'll talk to the mayor about this, but you're getting those new rooftops over there.
That's right.
And that east side of town is really where we're seeing a lot of growth.
You can't buy a piece of property over there. It's hot commodity right now.
Well, and you're getting the East Metro Parkway over there on your side.
Yeah, they coming through.
Well, Mayor, I know that's you got to mention a little bit of the almost the state of the city a little bit after your swearing in. And man, we are in just such good shape with such bright days ahead, aren't we?
We are. Financially, things are going well. We have these projects rolling out from MDOT standpoint, and then we have our local projects, street paving, and I've talked about the water comprehensive plan. We're receiving, actually we got news yesterday that we're receiving $6.5 million on the American Restore Act funds. However you feel about that, it will allow us to do a lot of things. Put in new water lines on areas that have reoccurring water breaks, put in a new storage tank and a well. That's all pending Alderman approve it, but I think that they will see the plan that we've laid out with engineers and know that it's necessary. And we're finishing up smoke testing right now for the water infiltration so we can pinpoint those areas. That's moving along. I've talked about that before. All those are very big things that we're going to make impacts years later. I'll be in the rocking chair, but you know, we start this trend of doing things in an excellent way. I mean, in infrastructure, you never stop. It's just it's a revolving thing that you know that you got to concentrate on all the time. And we have some other plans. We continue with those detention ponds that we're building. We're mobilizing over there in between Hines and Country Place at this time. Start knocking down some trees, and hopefully, if weather's good, that's always my saying. I mean, cliche phrase is, if the Lord provides good weather, we'll be able to get a lot of things done over there. So we just continue us on this path. Matter of fact, I've been working on a document myself, a comprehensive plan for myself on goals that I've set from within each department that I'm going to share with department heads and say, this is what I like to do before. It might look like it needs to have 8, but we're going to shoot for 4. 4 years. But just thinking about things that citizens think about. There's some stuff that, you know, I'm missing, or I may get tunnel vision on, but we want to make sure. And I think it's important. I think Sammy feels the same way, that we have our ears to the ground and we're listening to our citizens.
And that is the most important thing.
That's right.
That, you know, you can be pulled in. You know, I know the new census is coming out, but right now you can get pulled in 26,000 different directions here in the city because everybody has their own opinion about how things can be done. But you take all of those to make that one big decision.
That's right. You have little problems, and you take them by priority and get the bigger problems out of the way, and then just one bite at a time, get it done until we got everything done. I mean, we listen to anybody's problem. If we can't handle what they got, we'll explain to them why. You know, just talk, work it out. That's all we got to do here in the whole city.
I mean, and I think that's one of the great things that I know you. I've known you for quite a while now, and the things that Jake does is, you never like to just say no. If you have to say no, you say why.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, you always want to say yes. You guys really want to make things happen, but I really think that the citizens appreciate if they hear no that you give them the reason why we can't do that right now.
That's right.
Yeah, and I tell our department heads, if we can help, do help. Give the citizen the benefit of the doubt. If law prevents us from doing it, make sure you tell them that, but tell them why, and make sure that we try to communicate that information. And we maintain, I said it 4 years ago, they're the CFOs.
That's right.
Their taxes pay our salaries, their taxes pay what we do every day, and so we need to make sure that we're listening to them.
Well, one update that I know that is kind of getting out and around right now, I saw that West Rankin treatment plant is about to come online.
It is.
And we're about to separate from the city of Jackson, which you've been very excited about and talking about for a long time.
Yeah, so kudos to Gary Rhodes. He's the chairman of the West Rankin Utility Authority, and he started, I think it was 94 that they established that. Mitch Childress sat on the board, so I think it was 94. And Gary has done a great job along with mayors along beside him throughout the years, but he's been there for many, and he's helped culminate that into what it is today. And it is going to go online. The only issue about it is if we stay with Jackson on Savannah Street with their sewage treatment plant, which needs a good bit of repairs, if people were honest about it. And the consent decree is $150 million what our flow to that plant is. Well, we're building this one in Rankin County for $92 million, and it's 20 MGDs. We are only allowed, and that's the amount. I can get real technical, but basically what we're doing is we're doubling the amount of capacity for growth in Rankin County, where we only had 10 over there in Jackson. We'll have 20 with this new plant, and we prepared for expansion as Rankin County grows. It's going to take 30 years for 20 to fill. So we're putting in plan. Well, once we're going down the road, there's land in place that it can grow. And people are going to be, I mean, honestly, they're going to see sewer rates rise to pay for that plant. But it was going to rise more if we would have stayed with the Savannah Street plant. So it's like, pick your poison here. Do we want to control this thing in Rankin County and be sovereign, or let somebody else control our own destiny? So I think from a Rankin County man and a Pearl mayor, I would rather Rankin County folks control their own destiny.
Well, sure, and with a new modern technology and, you know.
And there's no disdain. There's no disdain with me with Jackson. I just prefer to do that. We've gotten to be a big enough county where we can afford to do those things, and that's what we need to do. And at a cheaper price than what we're currently serving. So if you can get a better facility, cheaper price, and you're sovereign, it's a win-win.
Well, that's one of the things that you know, we're going to really work with you guys closely on is the information, so that there's not a sticker shock. You know, when people get that new bill and they say, "Oh, what happened here?" Right, Sammy?
That's right, and everything's going up, so you just don't be surprised.
But do we have any idea, you know, because everybody is different about how much your usage is, because it's truly a usage type thing. You know, what is there a percentage that people might see it go up, or do we know that yet?
It's approximately about 25%.
Okay.
And that's based on your water usage.
Sure.
So it's going up. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell the folks the facts. However, you got to remember those factors: better facility, built cheaper than what we're being subsidized with Savannah Street, and it's in Rankin County. It's being built. If anybody just wants to go look at it, it's just south of Old Dominion Trucking down in Richland.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing that we'll make sure to let everybody know. Yes, it may be going up 25%, but had we stayed steady, we could have seen perhaps 30-40% increase.
Right. Definitely 40.
A 40% increase. So it's a lot less than it was going to be. So I think that's the main message that we'll want to let folks know about. That, hey, progress costs.
That's right.
Yeah. Right? Progress
costs.
And
it's happening all over the state. In DeSoto County, they're doing the same thing. They're having to separate from Memphis. Actually, up there, Memphis cut them off, gave them a 5-year, basically a 5-year window to say that we're no longer providing you sewer. So they have to build a sewer treatment plant like that. That's the other thing that you got to think about. I mean, we could be in that same predicament. Not saying it would happen, but again, being able to control things from a local standpoint is much better than the current situation.
Absolutely, and I'm kind of excited. Next month, I understand that the Census Bureau is going to be sending us the local data, specifically about where we stand, what we've gained. They gave out that big overview data just of the state, but I think in August we're going to be getting all the really drilled down demographic information. I think that'll help you guys know, just how fast we're growing.
Yeah.
I believe we're growing pretty fast.
Oh yeah,
it looks like it to me.
Yeah, Rankin County as a whole is second fastest growing county in the state, with some of the statistics I've heard from ranking first.
Well, and while the state as a whole technically went down, and a large part due to the Delta,
right.
Places where people just aren't going to and people are moving out of. But yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see some big numbers here in Rankin County, specifically, Pearl, Flowood, those guys to our east over there that we don't particularly like to mention, who they are, Richland, Florence. So good days ahead, and I'm excited that you're going to be a part of helping lead this city forward.
I'm really excited.
Well, anything you're looking forward to that's going to be easier when you hit your second meeting?
No, I think I think we'll be all right. It's all downhill now. We're going to be all right. Got our feet wet in there, and we're ready to go and get to work and make this city the best place it can be,
Absolutely. Well, I'm appreciating you guys wearing the pirate blue today. That was a nice touch. It's a blue and gold, baby. Well,
that's right.
Congratulations to both of you, Mayor. Another 4 years. Sammy, your first 4 years.
Thank you.
I'm going to enjoy calling you and Keith freshmen for a while.
There we go.
That'll be outstanding. All right, we'd like to thank both these gentlemen for coming in. We'll be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
Come find your taste buds at the Lost Cajun. Chef Charles is cooking everything to order. Cajun classics like gumbo, jambalaya, and red beans and rice. Pick your po' boy, shrimp, oyster, roast beef, or maybe gator. Proudly serving USDA farm-raised catfish. When you're done, loosen the belt up a bit for some homemade beignets. Dine in, take out, order online, and get it delivered. Reserve our party room for your group. Find your way to the Lost Cajun in Pearl and Byram.
Well, welcome back into This Week in Pearl. I'm Greg Flynn, the Public Information Director here for the City of Pearl, and we are honored now to be joined by our two special guests. We have to thank our state representative, Mr. Gene Newman, for bringing in one of his good friends. He just happens to be the Central District Commissioner of the Public Service Commission, Mr. Brent Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Greg. Appreciate it.
Man, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Representative, for having me here and joining you guys today.
We're glad to have you here.
Well, first off, I know, Gene, I know this was important to you because it's not exactly a sexy job that Public Service Commission when people hear it, but you thought it was important to help get Brent on here.
Well, I think that a lot of people don't really understand exactly all he does, all that the Public Service Commission does. But Brent he got elected to this job a couple of years ago, and in the midst of all the pandemic and everything else that followed right up with that, but he has done a great job, got his teeth into it, knew what he was doing to begin with, but got his teeth into it. He's done a great job. He's working hard for the people in this district.
Well, congratulations, by the way, on coming in COVID times. He did too when he started out. So
we certainly did. Who would have known what the world was going to bring us in January 2020 when we said, I do and I swear and all that good stuff. And here we are. It's certainly been a learning experience. I've thoroughly enjoyed the year and a half I've been there now, learned a lot, got to meet a lot of great people. And hopefully we are making a difference in doing what we can to make folks more aware of what the Public Service Commission is all about. We tend to be that agency, as sort of a agency of last resort when things may not be going absolutely great around your home or business or other place, and we try to provide that soothing voice or that place to go to really help solve problems and challenges you may have with your utility issues.
Well, I tell you, and it's one thing that COVID probably exposed, and we'll get into a lot of the things that you cover, but technology, utilities, all became so important during COVID because everybody had to stay at home base and work from home base. And that's been heck of a regulation to keep these folks in line, the companies, right?
Yeah, it's certainly explosive when everybody's home all of a sudden became a virtual office or a virtual classroom or a virtual business, and for our public health and safety issues, really shined a light and emphasized some of the deficiencies that may have been out there, particularly in rural areas, of the lack of certain services, dependable service such as high-speed internet access. It also created an impact we saw in increased utility bills as more people was home there, had the kids there, schooling, cooking, just doing much more, and we did see an impact on that, and which led us to the opportunities, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, that we're doing here at the City of Pearl and Mayor Wyndham and others to raise awareness of what homeowners and business can do to help create more energy efficiency indoor environments as well as at their business.
Well, one of the biggest priorities that I know, certainly here in the city, but it's refreshing to hear it coming from the state legislature, from our governor, is to really expand the broadband in this state. You touched on it before, these rural areas where kids could not go to school, parents could not go to work, and they needed to be online. That's right. And there is a great push to do that statewide.
There has been. Going back all the way to 2019, those areas when the legislature helped create the Rural Cooperative Broadband Program and Act, and the CARES money that came down as part of the early COVID response, parlayed that into a one-to-one match grant program that really kicked things off around the state, had a lot of participation from our rural electric cooperatives and several internet service providers, and now we can continue to see that momentum gain with what's called the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. And the state of Mississippi is going to receive about $495 million, number 2 in the nation, second only to the state of California in amount of money that's coming in the state to help support broadband expansion in many areas. And even though the rural areas are kind of what's getting the focus on this, these areas that proven to be unserved or underserved, we still have areas within municipalities, within city limits, that are still lacking that high-speed internet access that we all want, desire, and need to function in modern times with all the devices that we have now and the expectations that consumers have of what that service should look like. So that's going to help us get us there. And now with the American Recovery Act money that's right there, and we know the legislature will be getting some there. There's going to be a big pot dedicated to counties, another pot dedicated to cities, which will support infrastructure, water, wastewater, broadband, etc. That's another opportunity for these local governmental bodies to find, hopefully, sustainable, prudent pathways to expend those dollars in a way that creates long-term value and investment for its citizens. And who knows what the infrastructure bill that continues to be talked about at the federal level, what that entails as well, and possibly, I mentioned that Rural Development Opportunity Fund. That's 2 rounds. The first one was $9 billion. Mississippi got $495 million. Second round has about $11.5 billion in it, and that should take place within the next year. So there's a lot of opportunities for the state of Mississippi to benefit from all these state, federal, local dollars to be multiplied together and create a lot of long-term value and benefit in that infrastructure development process.
Well, I got to tell you, COVID was awful. It continues to be awful. But, I'm always the forever optimist, as my wife calls it. I look at the bright side of things, and from the legislative perspective, from your perspective, we would have probably never gotten to where we are now with this infrastructure support and bringing our economy back, in really pushing things forward without COVID. And so there is a positive to this, Gene, because you're going to be able to spread all kinds of money equitably throughout this state.
Well,
to infrastructure specifically.
That's correct. And it's targeted. If federal government ever gives us the rules, we might figure out where we're going to put that money. But because I think the legislature's still waiting just to hear what the rules will be for this latest act money coming out. So it's a lot of money, and we don't want to just spend it. We want it to be. This is an opportunity to really make a difference for a lifetime, a generation. I think the Lieutenant Governor called it generational money, and that's what it is. And we need to spend it very wisely, and make the most out of it for all of our people.
Well, and I think Brent, if you could help kind of explain what the Public Service Commission is about. It's not necessarily that you make the rules, but you help keep the companies following within the rules, right?
That's right. We're guided by the Public Utilities Act as established by the legislature and the parameters that we work within. And our regulatory authority is not universal across all utility types or services. You know, we even know we're sitting here, a lot of the conversation here is dominated by the broadband conversation. We actually have very little regulatory oversight and authority in that. We do oversee when companies and such as the cooperatives, et cetera, do receive federal money. We do oversee that through what's called a eligible telecommunication designation process. So
nice, you got that out.
It's a mouthful, but we sort of service the watchdog of the expenditures of those federal monies to make sure they're done as their plan for, you know, their multi-year plan for investing that money in broadband expansion, that they're following that plan, hooking up consumers, doing what's necessary. And that's about really the extent of our regulatory oversight, which you know, completely opposite when you think of our investor-owned utilities, electric, natural gas, your Entergy, Mississippi Power, Atmos, CenterPoint. We do regulate virtually not every aspect of their business model, but a significant part of it through customer service, rates, programs, and how things are set, and certificated areas where they serve, things like that. So it really ranges from whether there's a rural water association or a water district or electric cooperative or investor-owned utilities. There's different levels of regulatory oversight, and it gets confusing, I know, to customers sometimes when they call us, see what we can and can't do about rates. Sometimes there's just, you know, not saying our hands are tied, but it's just not the authority provided to us, particularly in like municipal utilities, rural electric cooperatives, water associations, where the customer members elect the boards to represent them. Whether alderman, mayor, or whoever sits on that board, that's who's accountable to you as a customer. That's not to say we can't get involved, particularly on a quality of service issue, and that allows us the opportunity to come in there and help facilitate hopefully a solution that's acceptable to both the customer as well as balancing the interests of the utility as well.
Well, one of the things that I know Mayor Jake Wyndham is very excited about is these energy audits that are going on that Entergy is offering free of charge to all of our citizens. They'll come in, check out your house, see what's perhaps running efficiently, what can be done better. And I know that is a great flag that you're helping carry. It
is. That originated from an effort started back in 2010 before I ever came to the PSC, and really kind of wore advocacy and consumer advocate hat back then. Started the process of evaluating what is the value of energy efficiency programs that can be offered through the utilities, particularly our electric and natural gas investor-owned. And eventually everybody developed a portfolio of programs that's suitable to, you know, the service they offer and where those customers are. And one of those Entergy, their Entergy solutions for business and for home. And, you know, the impetus behind really putting effort here in Pearl kind of originates from back during the winter. We kind of had a perfect storm of, you had holidays that fell on a Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, so you had consecutive 4-day holidays and then another holiday in January, and then we had the record cold temperatures in February. And during all this, Entergy has been in Rankin County changing out their meters, going from your old analog meters to your now digital smart connected meters. Getting a true count of what you're actually using. That's right. And when you change out meters, it kind of moves your billing cycle. So unfortunately, we had some folks had a billing cycle maybe up to 38 days rather than your typical 30. And you count that with holidays, COVID, cold temperatures, doing more from home. And we saw a lot of elevated utility bills in Rankin County, particularly in the city of Pearl. And as they called the PSC and we had conversations with some of the homeowners and others, they probably weren't nice. weren't happy in many cases, but as we worked through the process and found ways to hopefully alleviate or work with them, somebody always asked, are you familiar with the energy efficiency programs that are available to you through Entergy? Many at no cost to you as part of a service to customer, and very, very, very few people are aware of this.
And not only are they no cost, Entergy will come in and look at like a business and look at your business and audit what your utilities are. And like if you change out your lighting system and use one of the folks that they have on their list, they'll pay 70% of the bill.
Up to the cost of installation. So
Sure.
there's a lot of really good advantages to this. So
Yeah.
for the homeowners, you can sign up and get a in-home energy audit. They'll come and go around your home and look at your appliances, your mechanical system, your lighting, if needed, maybe clean your refrigerator coil, some other things, and even do direct install of LED lights, so you begin getting savings immediately. And it also helps you build awareness of other programs they have with HVAC tune-up or replacement or cost share for other energy efficiency equipment. And just like Ms. Jean mentioned on the business side, there's custom and prescriptive services there. Lighting is a big one. Get modern lighting in there to really light up your office, your workspace, others. And as I said, Energy can pay up to 70% of the cost of installation, which puts that return on your investment as a business sometimes less than 2 years, sometimes less than 1 year. And those are savings that are then you're acquiring every month for the life of that measure, many times up to 15 years. Wow. So it's a really good tool. Proud of the programs that are there, and we encourage homeowners, businesses, sign up, look into these at the Entergy Solutions website. And it's refreshing to hear the number of businesses now taking part of that. The trade allies that he mentioned are being advocates as well out there in the field. And the administrator of these programs very active as well. I know they're using many different platforms, door-to-door, social media, advertising, and others. And we just want to see a resident of City of Pearl gain from this. That savings that they put in their household every month turns over in the community. Just helps solidify the economic base and just create a more sustainable in-home environment as well.
Well, I can tell you that for all of our folks out there, it's not a scam. If somebody comes to your door and they're doing it this summer, it's not a scam. With Entergy Solutions, they're going to have all of their IDs that are necessary. It's amazing what a difference it can make when you actually let somebody come in and check things out. You don't realize how much of your air or your heat is escaping your house. Yeah. You have no idea the savings that they can tell you about simply by changing to the LED bulbs away from the old style stuff. It is amazing how much you can save just like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good technology out there, and you mentioned the leakage and ductwork and things like that. And it's just Mississippi, we have a lot of older housing stock. I think we're one of the highest in the nation as far as percentage of populated lives in some type of manufactured housing. And to find a way to better create efficiencies, sealing the envelope in the home, reducing that leakage, and have more efficient systems in place, it just really long term, it just creates a more sustainable household in many different ways.
Well, before we let you go, I mentioned the word scams.
Yeah.
Okay. Robocalls.
I'm
telling you, you have a keen interest in the telephone companies and robocalls that, well, let's see, my car warranty has expired. They want to extend that for another 10 years. My health care needs to be completely redone. I need to call them back because it's very important. Or the IRS really needs to reach me, or the FBI, because there's a warrant for my arrest if I don't call them back.
Yeah. So we do, the Public Service Commission does enforce Mississippi's no-call law and our anti-spoofing law. So we get in our office, in Central District office, anywhere from 200 to 300 and 350 complaints per week. Oof. From citizens that say, and you can do it through your no-call app, through mail-in, through call-in, online. So we have many different ways to allow customers to receive these calls, to submit that offending number, even text nowadays. If you can attach a text to a 10-digit origination number, we can add that and hopefully pursue that. And we're going to get better at compiling these numbers and tracking them. The legislature, again, thankfully this past year, gave us a nice little bump in appropriations. It's going to allow us to further modernize our computer programming and system that tracks all these numbers as they come in, and helps us compile them better and able to do what we need to do to try to figure out where they're originating from, so we can issue subpoenas and indictments and hopefully fines. And we are able to do that from time to time. But these guys, it's like whack-a-mole. I mean, they're very very talented in what they do.
Well, I'm very curious.
They are
because
criminals.
when we talk about the no-call list, they are so sophisticated now that they're using local numbers. Like,
That's right.
I get called by my own phone number sometimes, and I'm like, oh, I'm calling myself right now. How do you get around that by adding a local number, which you know is coming from Brandon, from Flowood, or from here in Pearl, to get that on a no-call? Or well, you can't really go to a no-call.
I mean, it's whenever they do that, they spoof a number, and you think you're calling you from a number you know is not legit. They're breaking state law. They're breaking federal law. It just makes it extremely difficult for us to figure out where it comes from. Many times it's out of state. Most time it's out of the country. And the long arm of the law can only reach so far.
Is it important to stay? And I hate this because most people just hang up. Is it important to stay on the line and perhaps get the name of the company that's trying to? You say no, Gene.
No, when you stay on the line, and this is the issue that everybody needs to understand. When you stay on the line, you just verify that you have a good phone number, and they're going to sell your phone. They're not only going to try to sell you something, they're going to sell your phone number to every other spoofer out there that's trying to do the same thing.
They know there's a live person in that line, and you're just going to stay in that mix and
That's good
continue
advice.
to churn and churn and churn. So we tell folks, if it's a number you do not recognize, I know it's tough, particularly you're a business owner or like us, like in my office, we got to take the calls because you just don't know. Let it roll the voicemail. If they want you, they understand. They'll leave a quick message, call me back. To avoid that, there's different apps you can use on your phone to, you can go scorched earth way and just say if it's not saved in my phone,
in my contacts,
it blocks the number. But that, what if somebody from an emergency needs to reach in, things like that. So it's a give and take. But thankfully we've seen some new evolution of technology. As of June 30th, all telecommunication providers must implement a technology, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it all, but the acronym is Shake and Stir. And what it does, it creates a certification authentication process from the origination of the call to the endpoint. And every place it moves along the network, it has to be certified this is a valid number. If it's not, and it allows to move and you get it, it puts the telecom folks on the hook as well for allowing that to pass through.
Awesome.
It gives us a new tool to further push the telecom folks to do a better job of verifying just how authentic those calls are. And hopefully over the next few months, we're going to see the number of calls drop off. In Mississippi alone, in the month of May, we got over 44 million calls made in the state of Mississippi. That's about 15 calls per person in the state of Mississippi over the month. So when it feels like you're getting called every day,
you are.
Sometimes you are, if not multiple, and that's just how they operate. And if they're just successful 0.1% of the time, it's a profitable day for them. And that's what we got to be vigilant about as consumers and everybody else. We all have a phone or two nowadays, it seems like, and these guys are professional scammers. It's what they do. We just got to continue to work with that, and with the help of the legislature and our tools there, continue to be servants and help people avoid these scams and keep themselves and their families safe.
And have no fear. These spammers will soon figure out how to overcome this new act.
Oh, always, and then you got to try and jump ahead of them again.
Yeah.
So it's a heck of a strategic game you guys are playing of Risk, as I used to play as a kid. So,
but we got good partners at the Attorney General's office and others, through their Consumer Protection Division, and so there's a lot of moving parts and coordination. But it's still tough. It's still tough to nail these folks down and determine where they are and cease those operations.
Well, I know we've covered a lot of stuff today. We're going to put some stuff up on the screen for you folks, where you can get a hold of our Central District Commissioner here. He's on Facebook at Commissioner Brent Bailey. He's on Twitter at MPSC Brent Bailey. You can always get on the website, psc.ms.gov. You'll be able to email him directly to central.district@psc.ms.gov. And when you go on his website at psc.ms.gov, you could sign up for a newsletter, which you were so kind enough to bring. I signed up for this a couple of weeks ago. It is fantastic, where you put out some great information.
I appreciate it.
By the way, I really like the Bulldog on here.
Had to lead off of that one.
National championship. You just made the whole state proud. I don't care if you're a dog, a rebel, an eagle, or what you are, but they made us proud. And man, you are.
So I was in some meetings last week in Little Rock, Arkansas. So I watched the series up there. It's kind of quiet in the area I was in. They're still seething from not making it.
Not too many Woo Pig Sueys last week.
Yeah. But it was enjoyable, and congratulations to all of them. But I appreciate you sharing that. We think it's a useful tool for getting the word out. We try to be informative, try to cover some areas that folks may not think about in the world of utility regulation and management, and just try to make a more informed electorate out there through this tool.
Well, it is fantastic, and again, I encourage everybody, sign up and get that newsletter. It's full of great information and great. You see how Brent gets out there in the community. We're featured right on here on the latest edition, our Kiwanis Club, when he was here at the Pearl Kiwanis, and that's one of the great things that you can do because you're consumer advocate. Is that you love to get out in the community and get to talk to civic organizations and the businesses.
That's right. A lot of folks have questions, and we want to be there to help inform them or find them that make that connection to help solve a challenge or an issue that they have through their constituencies, folks that know their neighbors, whatever, and it's all in the name public service.
Well, it doesn't seem, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't seem sexy, but it's things that people can absolutely learn about, because it can be confusing, especially for our senior citizens, young folks that are just now getting into home ownership and all that stuff. It is great information. I encourage them to go in and check it out at the Public Service Commission.
Let me add two things.
Yes, sir.
We were talking about the energy audits a while ago. Churches, all of our churches,
yes.
Our churches need to. We got a lot of churches in Pearl, and those that are on energy need to call and have that audit done. I think you can save yourself a lot of money. And the other issue that I want to talk about is, when we had that ice storm, Texas got humiliated. The whole energy system out there was broken. We weren't. Our energy people, the job that the Public Service Commission has done, working with our energy companies, they did a great job. And when you think back you go back all the way to Katrina and all the hurricanes that we've had through the years, and the job that our public utilities have done, our linemen and all those folks that get out there and work on this stuff every day, we have a great system that works good, and I appreciate the work these guys do.
Well, I appreciate that. February was a challenging time. It really was. Some folks, there was some inconvenience, I understand that, but we're talking about historical temperatures, back-to-back ice storms, a lot of issues, and a lot of response from surrounding communities and others. And thankfully we didn't have, I hate to use the word system failures, but that's really what happened in the state of Texas, and we were very blessed here that once the power came back on through the repair of the distribution lines and things like that, they stayed on for folks.
Well, I have to tell you, Mississippi takes a hit on a lot of things, but one of the greatest things about living here and working here is the fact that it is a true partnership from state government to local government to private businesses to homeowners. We're all in it together, and that, I think, is the mentality that we have in this state that allows us to succeed where other states fail, because everybody wants to do their own thing. Here, we all come together and realize we are just a big community of 3 million people in this state, and it is a testament to your leadership and all the other public service commissioners at the legislature. We say this all the time, all the way up to the governor's mansion. That's why Mississippi is such a great place, and we thrive where others fail. Well, it was great having you guys in here.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Well, you are welcome back anytime. You have a stand. That's your chair where you have your name on it, so you're due back in anytime. Well, gentlemen, you guys have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your summer. And Gene, I look forward to the results of your energy audit at your house.
All right, thank you.
All right, folks, we'll be back with more This Week in Pearl right after this.
WPBP and PMB TV would like to thank our latest sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is located at 403 Riverwind Drive, With over 32 different types of donuts, they can take care of your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can now choose from their menu of sandwiches, wraps, and muffins. And don't forget the drinks. Along with coffee, espressos, and lattes for your morning drive, they also have soft drinks, cold brew coffees, and smoothies. The Pearl Pirates run on Dunkin' Donuts.
All right, before we go, we want to let you know about a few events going on in and around the city. It's a big weekend coming up for the Mississippi Braves as they're at home playing a huge series against the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. These two teams have been going back and forth with one another with the best records in the AA South, and we are neck and neck for first place in our division. This Friday night, tomorrow night, the free hat giveaway. The first 1,500 fans are going to be able to get an M Braves floppy cap. Perfect for when you're going out to spend time outside, cutting the grass, spending time in the yard, heck, even going out to the beach or out to the reservoir. Very good M Braves floppy cap giveaway. That's on Friday night. Saturday, a fireworks extravaganza. We just had 4th of July fireworks, and we're going to get them again every Saturday night when the Braves are at home. That will be this Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's always family fun day out there. Kids run the bases, very family oriented. Well, this is also Easter in July for the afternoon game 205 contest. And before the game, bring your kids out because you're going to do an Easter egg hunt for Easter in July. Just a second way to, help keep kids engaged and let them have fun this summer. So that's the M Braves. Then they hit the road. They'll be out of town all next week as they'll be in Tennessee to take on the Smokies. We don't return home until the 20th against those hated, nasty Biloxi Shuckers as they're going to come up here to Trustmark Park. Hey, if your children are interested in playing youth football in the Parks and Rec department, we have football and cheerleading registration ongoing. For the really young kids, flag football is available. And then as they're a little bit older, tackle football is there for them too. And anybody that wants to be a cheerleader, that registration is ongoing. Simply go to pearlparksandrec.com right there on your screen, or you can call the phone number to get more information. Hard to believe football season is here, but we're getting these youngsters ready to both cheer and to play football, whether it's flag or the hard stuff, the tackle football. Big fun, lots of great things going on in the city. I'd like to thank all of my guests today, Mr. Sammy Williams, Mayor Jake Wyndham, Commissioner Brent Bailey over there at the Public Service Commission. Very insightful stuff that he was able to provide to us. That'll do it for this edition of This Week in Pearl. Remember, folks, Pearl is a great place to live, work, and play, which makes us the jewel of the crossroads.